I'm a six-figure content creator and I have helped thousands of other content creators grow their audience and earn an income. Now, in my experience, there are 6 things that creators need to be de-influenced about. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down those 6 things. This is actually based on a trend that I've been doing on Instagram that you guys have absolutely been loving. So let's dive into it a little bit deeper. By the way, this video is sponsored by Storyblocks, more on them later. Should we just start with a really controversial one? Let's do it. Usually I save these for last, but I'm just going to kick off, rip the band-aid off, start with something that's potentially going to annoy you. Whilst the job of a content creator may not be considered to be hard, becoming a content creator is. I'm going to pause for effect. There has been so much social commentary online in the last year about whether the job of being a content creator is actually hard or whether content creators deserve to earn the income that they actually earn. I'm not here to dive into that topic. What I am going to say though is regardless of whether or not you think a content creation is a hard job, becoming a content creator is incredibly challenging. It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of skill, and a lot of people who are trying to become content creators are doing it whilst working their full-time job. So I want to de-influence you from thinking that this is going to be an easy journey or a get-rich-quick scheme, because for most creators, that is simply not the case. I think when we spend a lot of time watching our favorite creator online, living their absolute best life and seemingly not doing much, even though behind the scenes, they are likely doing quite a lot of work, it can lead us to believe that actually all it takes is that one video to go viral and our lives will change forever, and it would essentially feel like we've won the lottery. The truth is, even if you get that viral moment, it is not going to be your one-way ticket to success. So much goes into building a career as a content creator, so it's super important that you learn to actually love what you're doing. I want you to enjoy the process of content creation. I want you to enjoy the journey to becoming a content creator, because for most of us, the main reason why we may not reach our goals is simply because we're going to quit. The biggest reason why we're going to quit is because we're just not going to enjoy it anymore. If you hold on to that enjoyment as much as you can, you take breaks when you feel like it's slipping away from you, that is going to increase the chances of you sticking with this and eventually reaching your goals. The next thing I need to de-influence you about: frequency and consistency are not the same thing. These two things get mixed up so much when we're talking about how often we should be posting on social media. They are not interchangeable and they're not the same thing, right? Frequency is talking about how often you are posting online, and usually in the conversation of content creation and growth, it's usually talking about posting as much as you possibly can. Consistency is about sticking to a posting frequency for a long period of time. So you could pick a frequency of only posting 3 videos per week on your TikTok channel, but if you stick to that every single week, you are in fact being consistent. I feel like a lot of us think that in order to be a consistent creator, we have to post frequently, but the consistency and the frequency are 2 separate things. I always say that when it comes to picking a frequency that you can be consistent with, you want to pick a posting frequency that actually works for you as well as your audience. Do not remove yourself from this equation. If you pick a frequency that you know you cannot stick to because you've got a busy schedule, because you work full time, because you have kids, because you do all these things, there's no point picking a posting frequency that you know you can't stick to because your life is not compatible with it. All what's going to happen is you're not going to stick to it, and that will lead to the inconsistency, because one week you posted 7 times a week, the next week you didn't post at all. So now you're not consistent. Whereas if you just told yourself, I'm only going to post 3 times a week, and you stick with that, then you are consistent. Do you hear what I'm saying? Great, let's move on. Before we move on to the next one, which, spoiler alert, is about niching, so you're going to want to hear this conversation, let's take a quick second to talk about something that you need to be using to enhance the quality of your content. We are living in an age where the social media content that performs the best is the content that is real, authentic, and features a lot of storytelling. If you are someone who just struggles to hit those points, you need to be using Storyblocks to enhance the quality of your content. Storyblocks is a stock media subscription service which offers you unlimited access to high quality video, audio, images, music, sound effects, and so much more. It's basically designed to help creators and business owners enhance the quality of their content without any copyright concerns or any extra costs. Now, I know that we're living in a world where generative AI can produce videos and assets for you. However, it's important to keep in mind that generative AI is not a universal solution for creative work. Storyblocks has a huge library of real artist-created stock media, which is irreplaceable when it comes to forming genuine connections with your audience. It basically allows you to tell more powerful and authentic stories by using their unique footage created by real artists. A Storyblocks subscription will give you unlimited access to diverse high-quality media for just one predictable cost. You can choose either a monthly plan or an annual plan. There are no hidden fees, and it gives you access to all of their video, images, sound effects, audio, etc. So to get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/JadeBeeson or click the link in my description. Okay, shall we talk about niching? niching. The thing about niching or niching down, which is essentially when you pick one topic to talk about on your content exclusively, is that it often leads to burnout. How many creators have you come across over the years who used to only talk about one thing and then either quit their channels or changed their topic completely? It's super common, right? And the reason why is because talking about one topic relentlessly for years and years and years can get old, especially if you're not that passionate about that topic, which is why I want to de-influence you out of picking a niche or niching down further when it comes to your content. Now, it's important to flag that the reason why people have said that it's important to niche down is because by picking one topic to talk about, you're also picking one audience that your content will serve. By having one highly targeted group of people that you are trying to speak to through your content, you make it easier for algorithms to understand who your content is for. You make it easier for your content to land with that audience because it's so explicitly created for them. And all of this creates a perfect storm where it can actually be easier for you to grow your audience. Now, even though this is the case, even though niching down can potentially help you grow quicker, it is not worth it if you pick a niche that you're not that passionate about and that you're eventually going to quit. Switching niches and pivoting can be very difficult for most creators and can often lead to you losing a lot of engagement and a lot of your audience. Now, the alternative here is to not niche down at all and instead just get really clear about the audience that you're speaking to. So it's not that you're only speaking to people who are interested in plants, but maybe you know that your audience are a specific age. Maybe you know that they're in a specific location. Maybe they've had similar life experiences to you. Maybe they're mums or fathers, etc. There are other ways for you to speak directly to one audience without you having to restrict all of your content to just one topic. Next thing I need to de-influence you guys about. If you want to go full-time as a content creator, you need to have more than one streams of income. It's kind of a fact. There are so few people who are an exception to this rule. And most of the time they're an exception because they have built like wildly big audiences and therefore maybe they don't need to diversify as much as most of us do. But if you're in the early stages and you want to become a full-time creator, or maybe you just want to earn the same amount that you earn from your full-time job, you normally need multiple streams of income. Now, if you don't know what some of these income streams look like, I'll give you some of mine as an example. One of my streams of income is this channel that you're watching. The ads that you've seen throughout this video, I earn an income from those. I also earn an income through consultancy services I offer brands and creators. I have a membership for content creators where I earn income from there. I work with brands, for example, Storyblocks, who I worked with to produce this video, right? These are the different ways that I earn income as a creator. And honestly, all of these income streams existed by like month 5 of me being a creator. Like 5 months after I uploaded my first ever YouTube video, I had all of these income streams already. I'm pretty sure that's true. Maybe not the membership, but I had multiple income streams already established by month 5. That was how I was able to start out earning my full-time job at the time so quickly, was because I had all these different income streams, right? I actually just filmed a video literally before this. I will be in the same outfit, which is actually about how you can diversify your income streams, but specifically which income stream you should launch at which stage of your creator journey to set you up for the best possible success. So if you want more information on that, make sure you've subscribed, you've turned on your notification bell, because I will be releasing that video shortly. I feel like the perfect thing for us to segue into based on that conversation is whether or not you actually need to become a full-time creator. When I shared this on my Instagram and my TikTok, it got such an interesting response. One of the comments was something along the lines of, I wish someone told me this before I started my journey. And I thought, God, how interesting. There is so much content online at the minute, which is glamorizing content creation. Maybe I'm part of that. I show a lot of my wins online. So yeah, I'm probably part of that problem as well. And for that, I'll hold my hands up and I will apologize if it has ever made you feel pressured to quit your full-time job to become a content creator. It's obviously what I did. I had it in my notice 6 or 7 months after uploading my very first YouTube video, and I became a full-time creator, and I've been one ever since. And that was like, 4 years ago now? And it was the best decision that I ever made. But a key part of that decision is the fact that it was good for me. I have always wanted to work for myself. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. This was always something that I was going to do. Whether I was going to quit my job to become a creator or to become something else, I was always in the back of my mind thinking that I was not going to work a 9 to 5 for the majority of my career. Not to say that maybe one day I'll go back to a 9 to 5 life and I'll do a couple days a week if the job's amazing, who knows? But I always knew a chunk of my career would be spent with me just working for myself. I always knew that'd be my future. Therefore, quitting my job was the right thing for me to do. Doesn't mean that it's the right thing for everyone though. Being a full-time content creator requires you to be incredibly flexible and fluid. Like, you need to be switching up your content, looking to do something new pretty much every single week. It also requires you to feel comfortable with being uncomfortable. And most people don't feel comfortable in that. You need to be okay with not knowing how much money you're going to earn this time next year. You need to be okay with not knowing where you're actually going to be in 10 years' time. Yes, we can have a 10-year plan. When you work for yourself, there is a lot of uncertainty as to what your future career would look like. Way more than if you work a 9 to 5 and you can clearly see what that progression is. Working for yourself as a full-time creator also requires you to be a self-starter to a point that the average person just is not, right? You are now responsible for your schedule. You are now responsible for motivating yourself and keeping yourself disciplined every single day. You are responsible for your own income and potentially the income of others. I have a full-time employee. I'm completely responsible for her livelihood now. Right? To a lot of people, that can feel like so much pressure and can be incredibly anxiety inducing, right? If you are someone who hears that and thinks, oh, I don't think I want to live my life that way, I don't think I would respond well to that, then maybe don't become a full-time content creator. Just because everyone's harping on about how much they love it doesn't mean that you have to do it too, right? Okay, so the last thing I want to de-influence you guys about is picking a social media channel based on how popular it is. This is a big one. A lot of people will flock to a channel like TikTok, for example. A couple of years back, before we started talking about whether or not it'd get banned in the US, people would flood to TikTok because it was like, oh my God, this is what's popping right now. This is my chance to go viral. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people saw success from that and they went viral. However, if you don't actually like creating content on TikTok, then you shouldn't be ditching your other channels to move over to it, right? You should be picking your social media channels based on the ones that you genuinely enjoy using. You genuinely enjoy creating content for. Maybe that's because of the format of content that thrives on that platform. So if you're someone who loves short form vertical video, maybe that's why you want to go onto TikTok. If you're someone who loves to talk and therefore needs long form content like me, maybe that's why you pick YouTube. The point is that you pick the platform you actually like creating content on, because that is going to be a thing which allows you to continue to create content on it because you genuinely enjoy it. It kind of links into the conversation that I had earlier in this video about how important it is to talk about something that you're passionate about, because one of the biggest reasons why you will not reach your goals is simply because you will quit. So we need to be making decisions which will reduce the chances of us wanting to quit our creator careers, right? One of those decisions is the channel that we're on. If I jumped on TikTok and said, YouTube, you are being pushed to the side, TikTok is now the most important thing to me. All the way back then, I would not have seen the same success that I have seen on YouTube because I prefer creating long form content, especially back then. Back then, I absolutely hated short form videos. I like them more now, but back then I hated them. So all what would have happened is I would have been really motivated for the first couple of months, and then I would have been like, I hate this. I would have stopped posting, and then maybe I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. Right? So that's the final thing that I want to de-influence you on. The thing is though, I have a list of over 20 additional things that I would also like to de-influence you on. I'll be sharing all of these things on my Instagram and on my TikTok. So if you don't follow me on those channels already, they're linked below. Go and give me a follow so you can hear all the other things that I need to de-influence you on. The fact that you made it to this point in the video means that you are going to find the rest of this stuff equally as useful. Okay, that is it for today's video. Don't forget that you can get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price by heading to storyblocks.com/Jade Beeson. The link is also in my description. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's all about the trends coming to video content. Very, very important video to watch. There are some significant changes coming to the way in which we create and share video content online. I really recommend you give it a watch. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I cannot wait to see you in my next video.